Hello, how are you all? Welcome to my channel. How are you all going? I just thought that I'd come on and have a bit of a chat because I haven't seen you all for ages and I haven't done a live for a while. I just thought I'd say hello and hopefully you're all well. Plus, I found out some news. Our mate John Barilaro is actually having to go to court tomorrow for his criminal hearing because he got charged, if you remember, for assault on a camera operator. Well, that goes to court. The first court appearance is tomorrow. So I thought, ooh, that's something juicy to talk about. Hello, Angela. How are you going? Yeah, I'm doing all right. I had my first exam yesterday. It took me 6 hours to do. It was 8 questions and only 2,000 words. It was quite a bit of a struggle at times, but yeah, no, I'm doing really good. So hope you're all doing good. So I don't really have a topic. We're, a bit of an open, open chat. We can do it, pretty much any topic. We're pretty, we can do. So for those of you that are watching from behind the bushes, make sure you say hello. Hello, Dom, how are you? And we have everybody here. I don't play sides. I friends with everybody. I watch lots of people's channels, even people that don't like each other. I just sometimes when I'm studying, I just need to have some background noise on. So I'll watch different people and listen to different stuff. Hello, Bella. How are you? So, Dome, I'm good. So, look, let me just show you. So, here is, let's have a look. I think Plan to Create's coming on. I know I was messaging her earlier today, and I said, I think I might do a live stream. So, if you remember, he got charged with assaulting a camera operator. I know this is Doom's mate, Braz. So he was charged. So he faces court tomorrow, the 12th. And here is R versus John Barilaro. Now, you're going to say to me, what's R? Now, hello, Bo. How are you? What are your thoughts on country singer Loretta Lynn passing away? Oh, any of the old people that, the old singers that pass away, really sad because I think in some cases we've lost a lot of that. Quality of sound. So it did mean Regina for the Queen, but it means Rex for the King. So it's regal. It's a regal term. So it essentially means, because we're a Commonwealth and we have the King of our head of state now, it essentially means the King versus John Barilaro. It's the 12th of October at 9:30 a.m. He's number 2 on the list. He's at Manly Court, and there's the court address, and he's going before a magistrate, and it's a mention, and it's a local court. Now, what is a mention hearing? I can hear you ask. What does this mention hearing mean? So it's going to go 2 ways. So he'll turn up to court. It's the first time it gets mentioned in court. They'll stand up and say it's R versus John Barilaro, and the magistrate will say, how do you plead? And he's going to say, they'll read out the charges that he's been charged with, and then it'll be in how do you plead, and he'll say guilty or not guilty. Now, if he was to say guilty, the judge can say, thank you very much, guilty. He'll either the judge gives a sentence then, or there is a sentencing hearing. I suspect he's going to say not guilty, where there will be a date set. There could be another date set but look, if also he's currently out on bail, so the magistrate will say, look, he's out on bail, he can stay out on bail, he's da-da-da-da-da. Next court date is like a listing here, how it's going to work, and then they get into the hearing. And then that's how it works out. I'm assuming he's going to plead not guilty. And then there'll be a discussion. But if he was to plead guilty, sometimes they will do the sentencing on the spot. Sometimes they will send them back. But this is where it's going to be, do you plead guilty or not guilty? So let me just, now remember, this is New South Wales, but I'll pull up the Victorian one because it's just easier, because that's the court, that's the state that I'm dealing with. And we've got the court process here. Okay. And this is a really good chart to follow. So let me just see if I can make this bigger for you all. So you've got your mention hearing. Okay. So we're all going to get educated on the law, you know. All right. So you've got your mention hearing. Okay. So you're going to, if you plead guilty, the court will decide penalty hearing at mention hearing or a later date. All right, or they'll send him back. So if he pleads guilty, now if he pleads not guilty, then that's right. Then we have a contest. Then we have a contest mention. From that, the case. So there's a contest mention, which is where all the evidence is going to be presented and witnesses are all presented, and then either the case is dismissed, the court decides that a contested hearing is necessary, or the parties agree the accused person's guilty. So this is where the plead stage comes in. So sometimes they can take a plea. So this contest mention is when you can plead. If they say we will let you plead guilty, but you need to do X, Y, Z. Okay, I'll plead guilty. Court will decide. If, for example, so it's pled not guilty. So we get to the contest mention. The court decides that it needs to go to a full hearing before a judge. You get your contested hearing. You're either found, the case is either dismissed, the person is found not guilty, or the person is found guilty. Okay? That's how the system works. And then you go to jail. So all summary cases begin as a mention hearing. In this hearing, the charge or crime of the offence will be read out. The accused person can plead guilty or not guilty. If the person pleads guilty, the magistrate will need to decide the penalty, also called the sentence. Okay, so this is taking us through. If the accused pleads not guilty at the mention hearing, it will move to a contest hearing. So during the contest hearing, the parties, the prosecuting team, the defence team, and magistrate may come to an agreement on whether they're guilty or not guilty, decide that the case needs to go to a contested hearing, or make decisions about what needs to happen at the contested hearing, including what witnesses will need to give evidence. Hey, this is what I said. The contesting hearing is really like your trial. So this is where the prosecution and the defence team, present their sides. They pull in their witnesses. It is like a trial, but there is no jury. Okay. And then it talks about what to do if you're a witness. And then if the accused pleads guilty, they're now called an offender instead of the accused. And the magistrate decides what penalties they get. Now, they are for what we call summary offences. These are like for road traffic offences, minor assaults, property damage, offensive behaviour. All right. When we get to the more serious stuff, it's slightly different. Okay. So for this indictable offences, which is aggravated burglary, indecent assault, drug trafficking, SA, manslaughter, murder, all right, the Magistrates Court handles the first part of the court process for indictable offences. The magistrate must decide if there's enough evidence for the case to go to a higher court for a trial with a judge and jury. So the Magistrate Court, this really gets all your small offences. So you get your committal mention. So everything's called committal. Committal hearing, case dismissed. If it needs to go to trial, then it's sent to a higher court for trial. And that's where it goes to the jury. So again, the committal mention is the date of the hearing and which witnesses are required. Then you've got the purpose of the committal is to find out if there is enough evidence. If there's enough, it will move to the county court or Supreme Court, again, depending on the seriousness of the offence. If it's going to be more than 5 years, it'll go to the Supreme Court. If it's between 2 and 5, it will go 1 and 5. It will go to county generally. If there's not enough evidence, the case will be dismissed. There's several months between when the committal hearing happens in the Magistrate Court and the trial starts in the county court. If the offence is related to SA, the date of the trial is provided at the end of the committal hearing. So they sort of move those pretty quickly. So that is what happens. And so in all of that, when they talk about this committal hearing, that they'll also talk about bail and that. But usually they will have had bail already granted. You get bail at the time of arrest and the time of charging. So anyway, that is the process. So that's very similar to what's going to happen. So John Barilaro probably comes under a summary offence. And so this is the process that it will be taking. So tomorrow at his mention hearing, he's going to either plead guilty or not guilty. As I said, I'm assuming it's going to be not guilty. Then it goes to a contest mention, where the judge has to decide whether there's enough evidence for it to proceed. If so, it goes to the contested hearing, where the judge will decide whether he's guilty or not guilty. So that's how that works. So hopefully that gives you a little bit of what's happening in the criminal aspect of the case. So what else is happening for people? I'm not necessarily a country fan, but I do like country music, or some country music. So yeah. What else is happening? Melissa Caddick. So Melissa Caddick, who have been following all of her stuff, all of her jewelry. How's uni going? Oh, yeah, I'm doing exams at the moment. So Melissa Caddick's, the receivers or the people responsible for getting the money back have actually applied to the court now to sell all her jewelry and all of her effects. And I think the judge has to decide on a few items that her husband wants to keep hold of, but otherwise most of that's going to be sold. I think it's going to auction. They don't think the house is going to sell it for as much as what they were hoping. So that's another thing. Yeah, I had my what is going on with Josh Duggar? Is he getting the new trial? I believe he submitted the appeal document. I mean, look, I haven't followed it very closely, but and I mean, it happens in Australia too, but everybody has a right to appeal, but usually you can only appeal on points of law, and it would seem like I haven't seen what his appeal documents like, but I know there were some discussions about the original questioning, and a bit like Chrisley, if it's found that procedure's not being followed properly, there could be cause. I really don't know. It's ultimately up, and the thing is, people have to realize that judges don't make decisions based on whether they like people or not. They have to make decisions on whether it's state of law. So the judge won't care whether it's Josh Duggar or who it is. The judge's focus is, has there been a miscarriage of justice? Has there been an issue in which he can have another trial? And none of that comes into it at all. None of that comes into it at all. So, so it's got nothing to do with whether you annoy the judge or not, really. It's about the processes. I mean, even with the Katie Joy stuff, they probably don't even know who she is or even care who she is. They're just going to care about the paperwork and the paper trail, making sure that if there has been defamatory statements made that she's guilty. So that's as much as I know. Yeah, I don't know. As I said, I haven't been following the Josh Douglas stuff very much. Other than to say that I wondered whether he would get one. As I said, I don't really know. You like my bullet journal? Well, thank you, Bella. Thank you. Yeah, look, I'm still dealing. Yeah, still doing them. I've got to put in another order, get some more stuff. So yeah. About the Duggars, I believe Anna's childhood friend gave some insight about Josh. It's interesting that Katie Joy was talking about it today, and yeah, there is that it's been on Reddit for ages, and somebody did break the article 2 days ago, so it's a little bit slow. So the other thing that I would like to state is that, hello, Plan to Create. I liked the latest FJ video, but I thought it was going to be more of a about the worst, yeah. Well, he got engaged just recently too, Friendly Jordies, about the fact could be going to prison. Yeah, that's a very interesting. I was going to look more into that, but I haven't quite got my head around it yet. I just haven't had time. But I have a few days now before my next exam, so I might be able to look into it a little bit more and work out what on earth is going on. But yes, they're trying to silence a whistleblower that broke the lid on some money laundering that was going on in pubs and clubs around New South Wales through poker machines, and the guy that was the whistleblower was dying of cancer and decided that he wanted to share his story and was interviewed by Christo. And the video got taken down, interestingly enough, and the video got taken down, and now he's been charged with contempt of court, which I find to be really interesting. Yeah. If anyone's looking for other bullet journal spreads, Plan to Create. It's got some on her channel, and she also has her own shop that you can buy from too. So let me just grab that stuff for you. Just make sure you check her out, because Yeah, so as I say, we're just talking about anything and everything at the moment. So we'll just see how we go. Here we go. This is Plan to Create YouTube. Okay, let's Plan to Create YouTube, and then I'll find you her store. Yeah, can you? Yeah, I'm doing that right now, Bella. I'm just dropping the links right now. So that's the YouTube link, and here's the shop link. I wish I was that clever. A lot of the characters from her stuff's hand drawn too. She hand draws all her stickers. So there you go. Something for you. So there you go. That's Plan to Create shop and YouTube channel. So check them out as well. So what else have we got to talk about? Anything I don't tweet to do with that YouTuber? I have to say, I really haven't followed much. I know that she's been sick with a fever. I know she's got a fever, and I know that V had a fever. Let's have a look. I'll see. Oh, that's my pleasure plan to create. It's a shame I can't use those extra stickers you gave me. That's all right. I maybe one day. Anyway, people go, what are you talking about? Probably Facebook is going to give us more information, Bo, if you're wanting to talk about that YouTuber. Other than people fighting about each other, I really don't know. I know she had to go about Kanye. Let's have a look. All right. So she did a whole pile. Of course, it's going to make me do this, isn't it? She did a whole pile of tweets on 7M because I'm not signed in. I don't want to have to set up another account. I can't manage one account. She can't get the 10,000 followers. Kanye West, she's got into Kanye West. Apparently her job requires a lot of researching, disturbing belief systems and horrific abuse to women and children. Who else is ready for chunky warm sweaters, pumpkin spice, everything, and beautiful fall? Well, we're in spring at the moment. We're getting ready for summer. And then she was complaining about whether her tweets were being seen because no one was interacting. So that's essentially what's happening there. Not much. But yeah, there's not much happening there, Bo. You get everything from me. Yeah, I'm trying to I was gonna say I'm trying to intelligentize my stuff, so not to talk about it, but that's okay. We will deal. Oh, by the way, I had my birthday on Sunday, so that was good. I got to go away for the night. That was good as well. I had a nice time away. Yeah. Where are we? Let's have a look at Facebook. The only thing about talking about that YouTuber is that I get lots of people that watch it, watch my videos anytime I put her in my title, and she doesn't excite me that much. So are you making another channel? What? I think she's using sister wives like a Douglas Street. I mean, here we go. Let's have a look. Making another channel. I can't be bothered. See, Dom, I can't be bothered doing all of that. I have enough trouble with one. I just can't. All right. So she's got a lot. Oh, yeah. Here you go. So she's taken to. Apparently, the Duggars are selling off property, but aren't they property people? And isn't that what you do? You buy houses, you turn them over, and then sell them. Isn't that what they do? I don't know. My job requires I spend a lot of time researching disturbing belief systems and horrific abuse against women and children. What patriarchal system did she grow up in? Is what I want to know. What's the patriarchal system she grew up in? Catholic Church? Really? Thank you for you. We need more people speak out and take a stand. Okay. Are out to freedom is a beautiful thing. Well, she got somebody from another language with another language. You're quite amazing. Like your page very much showing another side of that much that TLC funds people. I didn't realize TLC could be seen in other countries. Oh, you're doing it. I thought, Doom, I might have to subscribe to your G-rated channel. Subscribe to your G-rated channel because sometimes my little ears can't handle. No, that's right. Then she's done a lot of Sister Wives updates. WI has reported these details numerous times over the years, resharing for classification. Don't care. So apparently 2 days before his 10th birthday, I mean, for somebody that doesn't want their child spoken about, there's a lot of being spoken about. Oh, look at this. Exposing without a crystal ball, anti without a crystal ball sucks. Blocked by Katie Joy. So for somebody that doesn't want their child mentioned, there is a lot of, we all know that he's sick. So what are people going to say? How is your son? And then I think, if I remember rightly, people's clip it. Is there comments here? Where are the comments? Oh yeah. Feel better soon. Sorry I'm late. I know it's like to have medically fragile son. You know, poor little guy. Don't talk about him. And then we go, you know, all these questions, all these comments. Don't talk about my son, but I'm going to tell you all that he's sick. I'm going to tell you how sick he is. Now, and then people wishing him happy birthday. So this was, when was this? Because she said it's 2 days before his birthday. So when she posted this, everyone knows his birthday's coming up. Oh no, is he still high risk? Yes, he has adrenal insufficiency. So now we're going to get into his medical condition. He has, so we will deal with so many hormone issues. Oh, I can't pronounce it. And then it's, yeah, so anyway, it's all of that. Yeah. So is his birthday on the 12th, is it? Was this 10th she posted this? A day ago. Yes, this was yesterday. So today's the 11th. Yeah, the 10th. Then she's saying that Mary Brown's still with LuLaRoe. Look, if she's making money on it, good luck to her. And then 2 wives down, 1 to go. I don't know. I've not seen anything about that. Anna Douglas' friend reveals disturbing details about Josh and Anna's courtship. Well, she's taken that straight off Reddit. Douglas Mark Reddit, because I read it. Says being dumped has rocked him to now admits that functional polygamy doesn't exist and plural marriage might be a whole big lie. Apparently, he says. I don't know. Cody confesses, so basically, I'm a big liar. I don't know. So she's really punching the sister wives thingy. P.S. I realized after filming that I'm running a fever my day today. So today was brutal for me. My son ran a high fever last night and I barely slept, worried about him. Then woke up to give him meds, constantly woke to check on him to make sure he was breathing. Adrenal insufficiency and breathing and fevers are scary. I get scared because of his history. So I woke up today exhausted that I had so much to do. I didn't want to shower or get dressed, but I did. I got ready and put my makeup on despite feeling horrible. All day I was vacillating between cool and sweating. In my last video, I literally sweat. I had sweat dripping down my neck and stomach. Why didn't you get changed? Changed into a t-shirt and shorts. Finished editing, all while my head felt like exploding. Then I had to re-edit the video 3 times because I made errors in the length of clips I shared from Sister Wives. It was a mess, but I got it done. If I don't upload tomorrow, it's because I don't feel good, hoping to get over whatever it is that my son and I have. His fever's down to 99.6 today, so making progress. The silver lining is a blanket I ordered for him came today. He was so excited to fall asleep with his big Jurassic World blanket. He told me this is comfy. Then he fell. Asleep and ran. But yeah, I just don't like. But so then she's got all these things about, I hope you're feeling better. says, I'll keep you both in my prayers. And she says, thank you. So anyway, wait on. And then, oh man, I don't know how you did it. I'm glad your son's fever's going down. I hope yours goes back down. Lots of liquids. Thanks. I didn't do much about it until the sweating turned into like flashes of heat. Then I was like, okay, this isn't normal. Then I checked my temp. A small temp on adults can make you miserable. When a kid has the same temp, it can be bouncing off. Yeah. So anyway, that's what's happening. But she's still able to, you know, Facebook and stuff and post stuff. So anyway, and then I remember reading something about somebody talking about COVID, and she said, no, it can't be COVID because they've already had COVID earlier in the year. So I think you can get it multiple times now, can't you? Because of the different that they're expecting a new strain to come out of the northern winter. So anyway, that's what's happening. So on that aspect. So what else would you like to know about? There has been no more filings in her court case. I did check that. I checked that just before. There's been no more filings. I'll just check again, because we know that they like to pop things in. And apparently we're in for some flooding too. They've put my state, New South Wales, has already got some flooding, but they've put Victoria on flood notice. So I don't know. I mean, it's just a house, so I'll just live on the top floor if I have to. Apparently we've had so much rain, our dams are actually overflowing for the first time ever going into summer. We don't usually have full dams. No, that's still only, we have still got no answer. So just if you just have a look at that, that is the answer there, her answer. So that's it. So we've still got the motion hearing on the 21st. Now, I've already stated that if this goes to trial, I might fly over and be there in person. What do you reckon about that? If I actually go to Minnesota and be there for the trial, would you like that? Bo says people get over and over, still haven't gotten it. What's next after exams? Do you have a break? Well, I've chosen not to have a break. I'm studying right throughout the year. I've decided. It actually takes the pressure off. So instead of doing 8 units, 4 units the first half of the year and four units the second half of the year, I'm doing 3, and 2, which just lightens my load, but it spaces out all over throughout the year. Also means that if I happen to fail a unit, I can pick it up over the Christmas New Year break. So in that little period, and I still don't lose any time. So it just, as I said, just helps lighten my load a little bit. I'm doing workplace law next semester, my next lot, so that's good. And then I do sports law next year, which is going to be really exciting because I like my sport. Yeah. I was going to say, did you want to watch a Katie Joy video? But I don't really want to. I don't know them. I don't know that I've had enough coffee for that. Oh dear. No, my footy team wasn't in the grand final this year. I actually was working at the show. I know. In fact, I slept through most of the grand final because it was one-sided. I had no interest in it. I slept. And my team didn't even win a Bathurst the other day either. That was very sad. Sunday was my birthday and it was Bathurst Day. I ended up rather watch FJ or something. Well, that's true. I'd rather watch that too. Has he done anything? Oh, let's have a look. Something funny. Let's have a look, see what we can find. He's pretty cool. He doesn't mind his videos being redone. We could go back and watch one of the Bruz ones. Actually, the last video that he did was about the conservation and about the forests. That was actually pretty scary. How there's all these weeds that are coming into the ecosystem, and they could actually, yeah, that was actually quite a serious one. He can be very serious. All right, so let's look. I reckon let's look at oh, you go for Collingwood. Okay, yeah. So let's look at the prosecuted by the gambling lobby. Now, he refers to a TV show that was on, it was called Round the Twist, and it was iconic TV show. So there's a joke about that in here. And it was based in a lighthouse. For those of you that are my age, or can you remember Round the Twist? Okay, so here we go. I might go to prison, he said, which is, as I said, I find to be very interesting because I'm still yet to be. I just don't know how this works, but it's what's called. So there's two ways to be that you can have prosecutions in Australia. You either be prosecuted by the government, or the Queen, or the King, criminally, or there's a private prosecution. There was talk that people were going to do a private prosecution against Christian Porter over the alleged incident with Kate, but that hasn't eventuated. You need to have a bit of money. Yes, it was scary, but enlightening, Bo. Do you know what is happening with the casino license? The one in, was it one of the casinos has been deemed unfit, isn't it? I think there's a whole pile of stuff going on. But this is friendly. So this is Clubs New South Wales and Friendly Jordies. I might just speed up a bit just because I can. Melbourne. I think it's still okay. But I think because they
Sun Tzu.
Now I have sped up his voice, okay? He doesn't normally talk this fast. I do, but he doesn't.
Well, if that's the case, Mr. Sue, let's look at who comes after me. The state government, property developers, a strange police unit, and more recently the gambling lobby, Clubs New South Wales. Who the hell am I? Am I a character in Round the Twist and I don't know it? I don't know. Is it based to have your list of enemies all taken up by municipal gunk? What are you...
Now, interestingly enough, all of those have a connection with Barrelaro too.
What do you think? Anyway, today's video is about Harold Griddle's disgraceful plan to develop Port Miranda's lighthouse. Stay tuned.
Ever felt like this?
Look,
have you ever felt like this? Going round the twist. Bring back memories for him to create.
I wish that were actually the case and we were actually doing a video on Australia's answer to why all the entities I just listed have threatened or brought legal action against this channel for videos.
So they've all done have sent letter or have taken action against Friendly Jordies over his videos. So it's interesting, isn't it? But these two are connected, Coronation and Barrelaro. There's a relationship between that, and I'm sure there's a relationship between that. Yeah, so there's all a connection.
Videos, which means they clearly see Friendly Jordies as an enemy. And look, I've admitted how that reflects on me. poorly. But imagine being one of the most powerful politicians in the country and all but declaring that your enemy is a YouTuber.
And that really is him, by the way. YouTube.
Even Rice Gum wouldn't get in the ring with iDubbbz, and he's a YouTuber himself. Sorry, was a YouTuber. Now he's a multi-platinum selling artist. But perhaps the one thing even more humiliating than starting a beef with a YouTuber could be being one of the most powerful lobby groups in the country, Clubs New South Wales, the gambling lobby, and bringing criminal charges against a YouTuber and a whistleblower dying of cancer because they talked about money laundering in your venues.
Now, what's really interesting, for those of you that haven't seen the video, is that they actually, one of the claims is that the guy's made up dying of cancer to get out of defending himself, which is just a ludicrous case. Why would somebody want to make it up? Bros looks like a key. He does, doesn't he? Well, as I said, oh boy, you may have a Cupid doll. You may have missed out before, but he goes to court tomorrow over the assault charge, the criminal charge. So he gets a mention hearing. He gets to plead guilty or not guilty.
Come on. You can really get a clear idea of the caliber of an organisation if they take an action like that. Another way you get a gauge is if you take a look at their compliance with anti-money laundering laws and, oh, what the hell, Clubs New South Wales? 95% are non-compliant. Cringe. In case you didn't know and you didn't watch my epic vlog of my trip to court, Clubs New South Wales are running a criminal prosecution against whistleblower Troy Stolz and me. That is a bizarre sentence, and as you could imagine, it took a bizarre sequence of events to make that sentence a reality. Not just a potential.
Right, so yes. Hello. Live. Oh, you were cooking tea. How dare you, Peter, cook tea? No, that's right. I didn't tell anybody.
Potential subplot in rape.
Actually, the only person that knew was Plan to Create, and I said to her, I'm thinking about going live. I didn't say I was going to. I said, I think I might. Yeah. It wasn't, I hadn't decided yet.
All round the twist, more farts were somehow weaved into that sentence. Independent Australia has done a fantastic rundown of what has happened to get us to this point. Read it here, but essentially Troy Stolz used to work at Clubs New South Wales as a money laundering compliance officer. It was his job to ensure that the bikies laundering their drug money through pokies were getting value for money, at least 40 cents on the bar. Well, you'd be forgiven for thinking that, but it was actually to keep clubs in line with anti-money laundering laws. Anyway, what he saw there wasn't great, so he let an internal document to journalists and independent member of Parliament Andrew Wilkie. This document detailed that up to 95% of clubs weren't compliant with those pesky anti-money laundering laws. Clubs New South Wales, being the fair-minded organisation that it is, reacted by implementing internal reforms and supporting legislation such as the cashless gambling card to make it more difficult for criminal syndicates to use poker machines and wash their games. Just kidding. They reacted in the same way a mafia don reacts when you call their mum fat.
I just looked at his t-shirt. It's got Prime Minister on it. Does not want to see it better for the view of it.
Really unnecessary, irrational, and vindictive fools. In early 2020, they sued Troy in the federal court for breach of contract, running down Troy's resources, not even filing a statement of claim up until a month or two ago. As part of their case, Clubs New South Wales demanded that Troy hand him his communications with Andrew Wilkie and his office. Troy attempted to keep these confidential but lost and was ordered to pay over $150,000 in Clubs costs. Then there was another strange but this time needed twist. Last October, the federal parliament stepped up and basically said, hang on, those communications are covered by parliamentary privilege. They can't be demanded by the courts. Surely if it was good enough to protect Barilaro from his own statements, it's good enough to do what it was actually designed to do.
So, remember, it's interesting that when he tried to get Barilaro's stuff from court, he couldn't do it. He was protected by parliamentary privilege, and now they're trying to use parliamentary privilege again.
$150,000 in Clubs costs. Then there was another strange but this time needed twist. Last October, the federal parliament stepped up and basically said, hang on, those communications are covered by parliamentary privilege. They can't be demanded by the courts. Surely if it was good enough to protect Barilaro from his own statements, it's good enough to do what it was actually designed to do. Allow politicians to have free speech in order to stand up to powerful entities without fear or retribution. But no, this is how powerful the gambling lobby is. Clubs New South Wales got those communications. I mean, technically they're not even allowed to use them, but they still got them. These guys are more powerful.
So they got the stuff. They got the documents through parliamentary privilege that Shanks couldn't get for his, even though he had a law. Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it?
Politicians have free speech in order to stand up to powerful entities without fear or retribution. But no, this is how powerful the gambling lobby is. Clubs in New South Wales got those communications. I mean, technically they're not even allowed to use them, but they still got them. These guys are more powerful than the federal government. That's almost the same level of power as Dictator Dan. And you know how dangerous that level of power is.
Right, and Dictator Dan is a nickname for our Premier because people that don't like him refer to him as Dictator Dan. So he's just having a go at that. And says, and because he's they refer to him as Dictator Dan, and they always talk about how he's destroyed the economy, but they've got Victoria has the best performing economy in the country, a report reveals, on the 25th of July 2022. So, and he became Dictator Dan because we had the more lockdown. We'd spent the longest time in lockdown than anywhere else in the country.
Dictator Dan. And you know how dangerous that level of power is. As the case dragged on with no end in sight, Troy ended up spending more and more of his money, costing him over $700,000, forcing him to sell his house. I mean, to be fair on clubs, they were offering Troy a chance to make his money back and more. Then earlier this year, Troy discovered that he had developed terminal cancer and believed the stress from his legal battle with clubs was a contributing factor to his declining health. So, my producer Christo sat down and did an interview with Troy.
So this is why they're doing the prosecution is over this interview.
Pretty much the alleged crime here. In response, club sent a flurry of threats to us and Troy, warning that if we keep the video up, it could lead to Troy's imprisonment. Shortly after, the video was taken down by YouTube. That should be the end of it, right? Clubs got what they wanted. Video down, dying man silence, talk about money laundering in their venues muzzled. Ding, 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 jackpot. Surely that would be enough to satiate anyone normal. But no, on the 29th of July, clubs went to the courts without involving Troy's lawyers or mine. Well, I didn't have any at that point, but they brought criminal contempt proceedings against us. Yes, for the great crime of talking about potential criminal activity in Clubs New South Wales venues. So Troy, along with losing his house and developing cancer, is now facing jail time for standing up to Clubs New South Wales. But, you know, we're in Australia, the gambling capital of the world, in New South Wales.
So countries with the highest capita gambling losses, Australia, 995.8. Then it's Hong Kong, Singapore, Finland, New Zealand, Japan, Ireland, Norway, United States. Look how low the United States are. In 2017-18, New South Wales had the highest gambling machine losses of all states and territories, 6.4 billion. The next highest was Victoria, 2.7 billion. In New South Wales, per capita gaming machine losses was at 1,035, which is the highest per capita losses in Australia. And then Queensland. Wow.
Wales is the gambling capital of Australia. Clubs New South Wales can afford to do better than just lousy criminal charges. Why not add some unnecessary secrecy to that mix? You don't get to be this powerful with everyone being able to see your tricks. They also applied for an interim suppression order, meaning that if Troy or I told the soul anyone other than our lawyers, we could be imprisoned. And because we weren't there when the interim suppression order was granted, we had no ability to dispute or fight it. Are you following this? The gambling lobby instigated a secret, private, criminal prosecution against a whistleblower dying of cancer and a comedian because he just hates smiles that much. Like if you like smiles. I guess legally and technically clubs can do this, but on the face of it, there is something deeply sick in Australian society that something like this can go on and that an entity such as Clubs New South Wales feels comfortable enough to take these actions when the allegations that Troy brought forward through Andrew Wilkie arguably led to the Crime Commission to investigate money laundering through pokies. We've got serious problems with organised crime in this state. We have serious money laundering problems too. No doubt a lot of them stemming from poorly regulated poker machines. We're talking about violent criminals washing drug money. But the first prosecution stemming from the allegations that 95% of Clubs New South Wales members all but allow money laundering to take place are against the people that aired those allegations. Man, it takes creative and brave minds to justify and rationalise these prosecutions. Honestly, to me, it feels like the mob is running a fucking prosecution here. There is nothing whatsoever in the public interest in this prosecution, and that's evident by the fact that it's not even being run by the public. It's not the Department of Public Prosecutions acting as prosecutor, as you would expect. It's not the cops. It's Clubs New South Wales prosecuting us. What the hell have we done wrong? What has this dying man done wrong? Well, we'll eventually have a look at what Clubs New South Wales allege, but before that, to make the prosecution even more bizarre, Clubs actually got permission to serve me my statement of charge via email. They didn't have to hand it to me in person.
Bo says we're too poor and overworked to gamble. Might be true. So remember when he was being served his Barilaro document? If you remember that. That's what he did, if you remember.
But to be fair on them, I think they sent this goon to my house. Funnily enough, with all that suppression order shit, for something so secret, Clubs at first sent the charges to the wrong email. Perhaps themselves breaching the interim order. Maybe not knowingly. Eventually, I got word of the prosecution, lawyered up, fought the interim suppression order, and it was lifted. You know what Clubs argued in an attempt to keep the suppression order? Clubs New South Wales says that Mr. Stoltz's and Mr. Shanks-Marcavina's conduct suggests that they have been goading it into bringing contempt proceedings so as to provide a springboard for them to generate further waves of publicity and social media activities which attack Clubs New South Wales and its legal representatives in relation to the bringing and conduct of these proceedings. Do you know how insane that sounds? I know I'm going to sound like an Instagram infographic here, but I just have to. I mean, Jesus Christ, this is the most gaslighting criminal prosecution I've ever seen. Yes, that's our strategy, Clubs. We said to Troy, we really want to goad Clubs New South Wales into bringing a criminal prosecution against us. But before we do that, we need an angle. Troy, you're going to have to develop cancer, so how's your trip to the solarium, Shan? You could do with a tan? Here, take a cigarette, kid. This is like when that kid in class gets caught punching someone. Club, stop it! But miss, he made me do it. He was being a Gronk. What did he do to you? He was being a f***ing Gronk, miss. Punish him. I had to do it. He wanted me to punch him. We believe Troy developed cancer in order to generate further waves of publicity and social media activities which attack Clubs New South Wales and its legal representatives in relation to the bringing and conduct of these proceedings. Thus, we ask Your Honour to find Troy's cancer in contempt of court. Clubs New South Wales power has gone unchecked for so long they're pulling legitimately delusional moves in the federal court. Just think about this prosecution as, in essence, it's the gambling lobby saying that Troy and I were trying to bring improper pressure on them to drop their lawsuits against Troy. Thus, we need to be prosecuted by an entity which almost solely exists to bring improper pressure on politicians to prevent them from passing laws which address the issues which Troy blew the whistle on. Troy blowing the whistle being the basis of Club's lawsuits in the first place. It's just insane. If the deepest, blackest hole in the universe somehow became sentient and with all its energy managed to muster the power to speak and accuse, I don't know, this kettle of being black, it would still be less hypocritical than Clubs New South Wales alleging someone is putting improper pressure on them. This is an entity that gets the state government before every election to sign a memorandum of understanding, i.e. a piece of paper that says, we promise we're not going to be a government that regulates pokies or tax them more. Look at this. This is so embarrassing. This is an organisation that got more access to the government, well, John Barilaro, than any other entity in the first 8 months of COVID. It's an organisation that all but cooed the former gaming minister. And by the way, the day we entered our pleas, not guilty, thank you very much, Clubs New South Wales issued massively defamatory statements against Troy, accusing him of blatant self-interest and lies. If that's not improper pressure, but Troy talking about his terminal cancer with possibly only months left to live is, well, maybe I need to get my eyes checked. Maybe that's not a black hole after all, and that's just Bob Dab, the brightest star that ever shone. See you in court, Clubs New South Wales. Well, no, I won't see you in court because none of you show up. See your lawyers in court, Clubs New South Wales, and I'll see you at my live show in a Clubs New South Wales venue near you, or on my next vlog because they're just so fun to make. Also, Troy has a new GoFundMe to help fight against Club's criminal prosecution. Please chuck in any support you can. Get one of these spiffy U shirts at friendlyjordies.
There you go. That's the shirt, the secret ministry shirt. So for those of you that don't know, we discovered that one of the last things that former Prime Minister Scott Morrison did was he gave himself portfolios that nobody knew about, not even the people whose jobs he'd taken. So he's the Prime Minister, as well as the Treasurer, the Health Minister, the Home Affairs Minister, the Resources Minister, and the Home Affairs Minister.
.com. Now, Here's my rendition of what I assume Bob Downs' rendition would be of the Round the Twist theme. Round the twist. Oh, yes. Have you ever felt like this? Yes, I'm talking to you, Margaret. Happy birthday. How strange things happen. Are you going round the twist? I mean, I know I've been there before. Have you ever felt like this? And I don't put an echo on your mic, but I'm just trying to do it with my mouth. I do a lot of things with this mouth. Oh, naughty.
There you go. That was Friendly Jordies. So there you go. Yes, and he's doing a show. I would also assume that it's an 18+ show and probably not suitable for my young years. So yes, so that's why he's going to court, and that's how he's got to where he is at the moment. So I think I might leave it there for tonight. I think I've still got a little bit of study to do. Yeah, and I'm still recovering from all my work, but we will get there. And yeah. Unless anyone else has got something to talk about. As I said, I don't really want to. But what's interesting, I've got two subjects, both covering the same legislation, both covering the Australian consumer legislation, and they both overlap. Because my exam yesterday had unconscionable conduct, and this one's got unconscionable conduct. So, with the Australian consumer legislation, and your consumer guarantees that if you buy something that it's supposed to be fit for purpose. One of my questions was really bizarre. It was about somebody that bought a sleeping bag, and whether the consumer guarantee, because they took it to the Himalayas where it was -30. Well, there's a couple of arguments there. It's like the woman that is suing the ride operator at the Melbourne show because she dropped her mobile phone when she went on the ride, and they told her that they'd get it when the ride stopped, but she decided that she'd get it anyway and ended up getting hit by the roller coaster, and he's in hospital, and he's now suing because she got injured. And she set up a GoFundMe and has only raised, I think, $200 of that. I think nobody's really, she's now not very happy because no one's supporting her or giving her money. But what is really interesting, though, is that WorkSafe, or the people that had done all the compliance checks before the show, they check every ride, every bit's checked, and they sign off it. The ride was closed, and they did all the checks again, and they did the investigation, and then they opened it up again. So, at some point in time, people have to start taking responsibility for their stupidity again. Once upon a time, we'd say if you do stupid things, you're going to get hurt. But now you do stupid things, we blame everybody else, and we don't take responsibility for it. How does that work? Okay. All right. Well, thank you for joining me. I'm going to catch you all again. I might be on tomorrow. We'll see how I feel, how my study's going, how things are going. I've got some time on my hands at the moment, so who knows? I might actually decide I might want to clean my room or my house or something. Might try something novel. Or I'll try and find something else to do. Thank you for joining me. If you can hit like and subscribe, that would be really great. And until next time, I'll catch you later.